Hello everyone and welcome to the studio today. Today we're filming a fantastic trick called Usion by Eric Stevens. When Eric sent me this, it was right down my avenue, a little gimmick that's kind of cool. You'll see as we go along. I like it because you can use euros, you can use dollars, and you can use English pounds, and there's not loads of tricks with the English money now. All ungimmicked. You can just borrow a £5 note, borrow a €10, whatever, and do the little trick. We're going to get straight into it. I know you're going to love it. It's called Usion. Let's go. Okay, here's the performance of Usion using a dollar bill. But first of all, let me show you this card. It's got a real hole in it. It's not a fake hole, a black hole, or any of them other tricks that are going around. That is a hole, okay? A real hole. Also, I'm going to need a dollar bill. I hope you can see this dollar bill clearly on the table. This is borrowed. It can be signed. You can see this behind here. It's not the old thing where you can't really see it. In fact, if I lay this down on here, you can see Washington right through the middle. So we have a card with a hole, a bill with George Washington. Now I'm going to lay this down as slowly as I can, and you'll see George right in the middle of the bill. There he is. I'm going to bring this up here so you can see it. And by the way, this really is the bill. You can see it moving. Watch very careful. If I snap my fingers, it'll look just like I can move his head off his body. I know it's hard to believe, isn't it? The cool thing is I can show it all the way around at the back. I can show it all the way around at the front. Watch as it just comes back onto his body. Now that's pretty good. But what I love is when you move him down to the end. Watch careful. I give a little slide, he comes all the way down to the end and all the way back again. Now I can make him look round a corner, but that's actually illegal, I think. Now don't forget, this is just a card with a hole and a borrowed bill, and that is Usion. As I said earlier in the intro, this is a great little idea from Eric Stevens. What's really smart is you've got two flaps, and one's on a little hinge, a little plastic hinge almost. I'm going to show you that, of course. Now you're probably seeing three cards here. It's because we make three types, and I don't know if you've got the English, the American, or the European. So I'm going to show you all three. Two are exactly the same, but I've changed the euro slightly because the euro doesn't have a person on there. You'll see what I mean by that when I show you. So they look like a card, but really they've got a little flap. They're all the same. I'll tell you what, we'll do the dollar, just because it's in the middle, and we'll do the dollar. So this is your first flap with a hole. And then under that, there's a little George Washington. So under this one will be a little Winston Churchill, okay? And what's going to happen in performance is you're going to show this. You're going to secretly open this. I'll talk all about that in the explanation. And you're going to load this onto the bill so they're looking at that. And that's all they are. And we have it in dollar. We have this in UK. And we have this in a euro. As well as obviously the gimmicks, you have a regular card with a hole and a red double backer. And that's just for a cleanup. And the cleanup's kind of optional. And I'll talk about that as well. And if I'm really being truthful, I haven't been using the cleanup. I've been using a little Himba wallet and just switching them at the end if you want to do examination. But you do get these as well. And that's what you should have received. I've broken the explanation up into two sections because two of them, American and English, are exactly the same, but we're doing something slightly different with the euro. You don't have to, but I think it looks better. So here is what happens with these two. They're identical. You're going to borrow a dollar bill or an English £5 note. That's what you're going to need. And I'll show you both, but just for a second, I'm going to start with the dollar bill. Show the card all the way around. This opens here. It's on my right, your left as you're looking, and I'm just turning it so it doesn't open. That's all I'm doing. Now, in real life, I borrow this. I've got all day to open this flap, okay? But in filming, you might just see me open this because I've got no misdirection. But normally I'd say, somebody got a dollar bill I could borrow. And as I do that, I open this flap. And all I'm doing there is opening, I'm just covering the hole slightly and opening this flap. That's all I'm doing. So to expose it, I'm doing that and that. As I borrow a bill or ask for a bill, and I just literally open this, I just did it again. Now, if this is very, very flat for the first time you perform it, just open it once and give it a little crease. It might have been in there a month, it might have, but you need it kind of on that angle. And once you do it once, it'll always be on that kind of angle. So let's do it again. I open up the flap and I turn the card like this and I look through. All right. And that's like that at the moment. Let me turn it completely around. It's like that. Now I like to do a fake lay down. So I'm really going to put this on top. First of all, I say it's your dollar bill and one card. And I lay this down and I didn't put the gimmick in place there. Look. And I say, now don't, as I just say, you're going to see an unbelievable illusion. I said, don't forget, it's one card and your bill. Now I do the move. Now what I'm going to do from the side on is I'm going to move that thumb on purpose so you can see. I'm just going to lay that right on his head. And I'm going to try and get that perfect and just have a couple of practices. This comes down and it just looks like you've put that straight through the hole. I hope that looks as good at home as it does in real life. And it's from here to there and down. And it looks so clean. It doesn't look like there's another piece in play. And now there's a real cool move here. Because the flap is on a hinge, you can move this bill for a convincer. You say, now don't forget, this really is the bill. Look at that. That's moving every time. And that's really nice. Now, you're just going to move this up. And you've got a little locator point here. I'm going to turn this round. If you can see the bill, you've gone too far. All right? If you can see the bill, you've gone too far. And that applies to all of them. You need to be down a little so you can't see the bill. Let me line that. That's about perfect there. That's about your height. Okay? And now bring him back down again. And I bring this way so that the flap is at my side. And I like to move this. I put a thumb here and a thumb here. And I move him down. And then I bring him back up. I always do the joke. And he can even look round a corner. But I think that's illegal, all right? I bring it back and I clamp everything with one hand. Now this is great because you've no choice. You have no choice. That's what's going to happen at the back. Your thumb's going to come in and it's going to close two flaps at once as you come over. You have no choice really. That's like that. That's like that. That's like that. That's going to come here. That flap is going to automatically close that flap as you pick the whole thing up off the card. So I'm looked down, I know I'm clean now, I'm in the right place. I show this, I show this, I put the dollar bill down. So here is an exposed view and I'm on a funny angle here, but you'll see if you clamp with your thumb, this all drops open. The thumb's going to come in between these two sections here. I'm moving these fingers so you can see. Then I'm going to put this finger onto here and pick up. And that's going to close there. Close here as you rotate over to here. Clamp with the thumb and let go with the right hand. The bill slightly drops, but so does the flap. Now, this is an exposed view, of course. The thumb is going to come in between these two sections and close this flap up. That will close the fake bill, like so. And now you rotate here, and that would close everything. And now you can show the front and the back of the card. I don't want to obviously teach you now the entire thing again, but if you've got an English version, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. This time it's Winston Churchill, the one and only, Mr. Churchill. He's on the flap. It looks really good with this. It looks really clean. Make sure the bill is rotated the same way as the face. I mean, that's obvious. You're not going to put him upside down. Try and get so they can see through the hole. And then just load this down. It looks so good onto there. It just looks like you're putting this down. Try not to make a big move here. Just put this down, look. And again, this is the same. This is the same. That's all the same. And now the cleanup is exactly the same. You come in here, you squeeze everything. It closes up at everything. You turn this over, and now you have the same with the £5 note. Many of you might know I actually live in Spain, so I have to perform a few tricks with euros now. The downside of this trick with euros is they're a little bit bland. They're not got like a face. They haven't got a Washington or a Churchill or... But I came across something just messing around. It's actually kind of quite cool. When I borrow the bill, I draw a tiny little face on there. Now that can be anything. Now bear in mind you're going to draw on your gimmick, so just give it a bit of thought before you decide. But you can draw anything on here. I've drawn a little smiley miley, but you could put anything on a borrowed bill. But whatever you draw on there needs to be on your gimmick. And I've drawn a little smiley miley on this gimmick, exactly the same. That's just like the others. Everything is the same as the other two, except for I've drawn a little smiley miley. And that gives it a focal point, so that when you do the lay down, it looks just like the smiley miley is in the circle. I'm going to take that off, of course, and do it again for you. There's the gimmick. There's the smiley miley. There's the hole. And there's it all lined up. Now you still get the same effect. You still see the little smiley man moving on the bill. You see it here. You see, in fact, it really kind of looks kind of cool on euros. I pick this up here. Let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to open this and put the bill. I'm going to come in, squeeze everything, turn this over, and now you have the exact same thing with a euro. I hope that made sense with the euro. You can do it without, the gimmick comes without any drawing. You can just do whatever's on there, and you can still see that this piece is moving. I just think to have a focal point makes it a little bit stronger. If you remember at the beginning, I mentioned that you got a regular card with a hole and a double backer, and they're just for cleaning up. Now, being honest with you, I'm using a little Himba wallet. So I've got these, a non-gimmick one in a Himba wallet. I'm not using this at all. And after I've finished, I fold up the bill, fold up the thing, and I do the switch, and that's when I realise it's their bill. And I literally say, oh, sorry, it's your bill, isn't it? And now the other side of the Himba is in view. And I say, oh, I forgot to, you can check the card as well if you like. And that's a great way of just switching it in and out. Having said all that, if you prefer to make it kind of like a card trick, you can have this face up, can't you, and the double backer here. You've finished your routine. You've closed up the gimmick. You've picked up a double here. You show the hole. You show the hole again, and now this could be examinable, couldn't it? And that really is fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's why we're giving you it. It's a great way of cleaning up if you want to make things examinable. But when I did this the other day for some friends, I literally just put it in a Himba wallet, turned it over, I kept his 10, and I said, oh, sorry, it's yours. And that now they're looking at the other side of the little switch wallet or a Z fold. They all work the same. You can pick them up everywhere. I hope that helps with cleaning things up. See you sometime down the road.